All right, Jason Rona here. We're at the Thunder Road RC Raceway here in Waite Park, Minnesota. We're here with Ryan Cavalieri. Ryan, we're talking a little Muchmore racing here today. Inside carpet track. We're on the carpet series. You've been doing. You've done 3 of 4 events. You're in contention in both classes for the championship. We thought this was a good opportunity to catch up a little bit with the Muchmore product. You've been running for 3 years now. It's been a long-time sponsor you've been with, and the equipment obviously looks really good. And tell us a little bit about running for Muchmore over the last several years. You've had a lot of good wins. You've been running a lot of on-road. I guess we can say that you win a lot of on-road races, especially in the U.S. But talk to us about running for Muchmore the last couple of years and kind of your relationship with Koba and then also Joe.
Yeah, I started 3 years ago with Muchmore. I was talking with Koba, and we basically came to an agreement. And basically from day one, I've been very, very happy with the product. We have developed our stuff throughout those times where we've changed our rotor sizes and basically just got the program a little bit more out of the box, where it's just a little bit more smoother. And now we can program, and we've made also more changes to the motors, and we're getting everything, I would say, pretty much where everybody's happy with the stuff now. And with the carpet racing and dirt racing, you definitely need to have different rotors that all mix together. So for dirt, we run a different rotor that's a little bit smoother. And then for carpet, we have a little bit more aggressive rotor that we're running here this weekend.
In this off-road racing on carpet, I mean, power is such a huge thing, especially in two-wheel and four-wheel. I see you got a 6.5 in this buggy, but talk to us about having enough power in these classes and how important that is in carpet. In dirt, it's like sometimes it's like it doesn't matter, like you have enough regardless. But in this, I mean, it's a big thing.
Yeah, I would say carpet is more similar to on-road, and I've had a lot of experience with that. So basically, you don't always need to have like the lowest turn. You could take a 6.5 motor and basically make it just as fast as a 5.5, but you need to make everything drivable. So we just tune with our turbo and the turbo delay. And really, for the size of the tracks that we've been on, a 6.5 is probably the most just suitable motor for the surfaces that we're on. We have had 5.5s in our cars, but gets to the point it gets a little bit out of control even for us. So I would say a 6.5 is our standard motor that we're kind of running right now.
Yeah, I mean, when I watch you run on this track, it looks smooth and it looks easy to drive, but a lot of that is, I mean, this thing's got a ton of power, but a lot of that is your style. This track isn't one where you're really going for it everywhere. This is a kind of a precise track to drive, but then you hit the straightaway and you gotta have some power to get down there in a hurry. That's always an easy way to make up speed and time on a track like this. But talk to us about driving this track and then the straightaway speed and the importance of that.
Yeah, so basically from the first run on, I've kind of just have tuned a little bit. I gave it a little bit more turbo just for the straightaway, but you also have to just conserve the wheel spin still on carpet. There are some sections that are a little bit more technical than what I would say what I've seen really at the last couple events. So they have a wooden section, so you have to be really, really smooth and just not have to really jam on the gas as fast as you would normally out of a corner. So I would say overall I've conserved my speed in the infield and maybe gave up just a slight on the straightaway speed, but that just makes the overall lap time for me more consistent.
So, when you are driving the track here, I hear a lot of guys talk about this whole time because we got that one roller in front that's probably the most difficult section. We've talked about that. But the brakes. And this is a track to me where all of a sudden the brakes are becoming a huge factor because you're wanting to get stopped. You want to get into that roller as fast as you can, but you got to get stopped to get over that thing. So what is the brake adjustments that you make on a track like this? And, is there strength and maximum brakes? And what do you tune on with that?
Yeah, right now we're at 100%. Basically on the speed control. Drag brake I've adjusted a few times. I've liked to be around 13 or 14 on the drag. We do have a section that you basically are coming at it full speed and you need to just check up just a little bit and get back on the ground. So It's definitely, I've been, even adjusting my EPAs on my radio from run to run, just depending if I have new tires, if I have one run tires. Everything I just feel right away. I just adjust on my radio if I need it. But yes, it's the whole 5 minutes. It's crazy just going at it every single lap and attacking it every lap. So you definitely don't want any fade in any of the motor or the speed controls. So basically, you just try to get your stuff to feel the most consistent throughout the entire run.
So, what you have on here is, you got all the Muchmore gear, front to back. We talked about it a little bit, but you also have a fan on the motor, which not everybody uses that in dirt. You don't really need it as much. But in carpet, I mean, the placement of the fans and obviously having one on the speed control is critical. But I see you got one on the back of the motor here, and that's also another Muchmore item that you kind of have it stuck back here, right?
Yeah, Muchmore definitely has a few different options for fans, for speed controls, and for any other cooling devices. So on our speed control, I'm running a little bit bigger fan just to get more airflow, and then I also run the aluminum Muchmore brace just to keep the fan in one piece, basically. You can run the fan for the motor in the receiver, or you can plug it directly into the speed control. I think for the most airflow, going directly just to the receiver is the best bet. And then we also, Muchmore has different size connectors. So right now I have my fan directly behind my motor. So I needed a little bit longer wire, and they basically just fit different wires on just to get the right size. You also can mount it on top of the motor, kind of like the guard, I guess. I see a lot of stock guys basically do that. For mod, it's not so crucial, so we have enough room where I just servo tape it down, and it basically just sticks.
So you're probably one of the rare guys in the business over the years that have had signature motors, and you've had just about all these different kinds of signature limited edition items. In the old days you had stickers with your paint job on them, and it's different colors and bright stuff. But now the trend in the business is a lot of this black stuff, silver edges, and it's a big difference. Like some of your old World's cars that have all these bright stickers and stuff all over the place. But how do you think that the equipment's looking now in comparison to maybe those days, and how do you think that it appeals to the racers now, and just having the clean wiring and everything's kind of colored black, and what do you think is kind of going on in the business now where everybody wants this look?
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of on just like the black look. It just, all the parts seem to be in the same color and with the etching. So overall the car looks really, really clean just right out of the package. Muchmore just started to do the black wiring soldered onto the speed control, and it just just another way to make it look cleaner. Obviously they do color the positive wire, which I'm sure people have plugged in backwards numerous times. So that's just the risk of looking at factory, having that factory look. But overall, I think it just looks the best, and I think a lot of people now are all for the look. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of it starts with the car. The car, the way these plastics are, everything is colored, black. We got black anodizing, and the parts of the car itself are that deep color, and then matching the electrical. I mean, you even have your weights on here. I mean, this thing is it just looks super clean. It looks super trick, but now you look into the depth is a lot different. In the old days, we'd look at it and say, "Wow, we got all these colors and stuff is so bright." But now it's like the details are almost a little more hidden, and that's what it gets guys searching a little bit further into some of these cars, and to really know, it's like, hey, this is a 6.5, and before it's like we'd have a sticker that would be like, Ryan Cavalieri, this 6.5, but now it's different, right?
Yeah, I would say everything just looks more professional. I mean, our cars back in the day looked like a rainbow, basically, with so many different colors on it. So yes, I mean, the motors now have a 6.5, basically a logo on it, knowing like anybody can come up and just see exactly what I'm running. Basically, back in the day, you could basically fib with people. You could put stuff on it, just because it was a sticker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say overall, everyone I think just has came to the conclusion that, I mean, all this stuff kind of looks similar nowadays. So I'm gonna say that's the color.
So going into the battery here, I noticed you got the well, everyone's got a shorty now, but then the thin, small battery itself, 4,000 milliamps. What's the difference here, and why do you use this combination on the two-wheel buggy?
I would say on carpet, you just want all the CG as low as possible. It just makes the car quicker in and out of the corners. It doesn't roll as much. So basically, we just compensate and we run about 50 grams underneath the battery to still like kind of make up for that weight. And it just plants the car. You know, the car just stays more consistent throughout the run. And we have plenty of runtime in mod for our 5-minute runs, basically. I would say I take about like maybe 3,000 milliamps. So I still have plenty of runtime when I come back. And, you know, we could easily go 6 minutes if we had to.
All right, well, that's Ryan Cavalieri. We're talking Muchmore racing. A lot of trick-looking stuff today, you know, with the details. The black stealth anodizing is so popular, but this stuff is really good. He's had the 3-year success run with this equipment, and we're getting it done here this weekend. TQ in the two-wheel drive modified class swept all 3 rounds, and definitely get it done. Car looks awesome, and then congrats, and we'll see you out there in the mains.
Thank you.